who've been buried in that very area. A special report that's come up on that. And of course, the deep dive where we take you through the IIT Allahabad double tragedy. 2 students who've died a few hours apart on the same day. Suspicion among the students. And finally, a viral watch segment where we have news on Salman Khan being slammed for wearing a watch that is a Ram Janmabhoomi special edition watch. A lot more on that. As always, the headlines first. The Waqf Bill to be tabled in the Parliament tomorrow, 8 hours allocated for discussion. The Congress issues a whip to all its Lok Sabha MPs for the next 3 days. Kunal Kamra appears before Madras High Court, alleges Mumbai police is trying to arrest him. Now, shockingly, the police who are not able to get in touch with him have sent notices to the audience who are part of his show. Will maintain decency in shows. This podcaster, Ranveer Alabadia, tells the Supreme Court after being cracked a whip. Supreme Court blasts Prayagraj bulldozer action. Comes down heavily on the Uttar Pradesh government, calling demolition drive as inhuman. Actor Ranya Rao approaches the Karnataka High Court seeking bail in gold smuggling case days after the Sessions Court refuses to grant her release. "17 dead, 5 injured in a blaze at firecracker warehouse in Gujarat." Chief Minister Bhupendra Patel announces 4 lakh ex gratia. India charges 100% tariff on agri-goods. Time for reciprocatory tariffs. That's what White House says. Trump says India is set to substantially slash tariffs ahead of the looming reciprocal tariff deadline of April 2nd. China and India's ties should take the form of a dragon-elephant tango. Chinese President Xi Jinping tells President Draupadi Murmu. Israeli troops killed 15 Palestinian medics, buried them in a mass grave, says the UN. Red Crescent says Israeli troops have been killed in a cold-blooded murder. All right, let me take you through our big news coming in on the first story with Sunrisers Hyderabad and the Hyderabad Cricket Association ticket controversy that's now exploded. All right, well, we're looking at both the bodies finally decide to come together amicably and solve the situation which has been brewing for the last few weeks. So what exactly was the controversy here? If I could take you through, Sunrisers Hyderabad had accused the Hyderabad Cricket Association of demanding more than the agreed 3,900 complimentary passes per match. They claimed the passes were meant for club secretaries and officials. Things escalated when Sunrisers Hyderabad claimed that during one of the games, the Hyderabad Cricket Association even locked up a VIP box inside the stadium, refusing to open that box unless they got at least 20 extra free tickets. Now, the franchise, SRH, has called this intimidation tactics, coercion and blackmail, and also threatened to move out of Hyderabad to play the game. After days of drama and government-ordered probe, the two have now finally decided to settle the matter quietly. In a meeting at the Rajiv Gandhi International Cricket Stadium, both sides have agreed now to go back on tradition. HCA will continue to get its 3,900 complimentary passes, as it always has, and nothing more. SRH, on its part, has reaffirmed its commitment to the tri-party agreement, which with HCA and BCCI ensuring that 10% of the available stadium capacity across all sections is allocated accordingly. Just days ago, the Sunrisers Hyderabad had also written that scathing letter saying, "Do you even want us to stay here or not? We pay full stadium rent." Yet, Hyderabad Cricket Association is creating this hostile environment for us. Now, after all that embarrassment, both sides have finally chosen to play ball. And for now, Hyderabad keeps its IPL matches. All right, taking you through the story on Kunal Kamra, the comedian who faces flack and aggressive police action. Now, after he skipped 2 summons, the police have decided to shockingly take this to the audience of Kunal Kamra. So, the audience who were part of that February 2nd show, Naya Bharat, the one that has gotten him into a spot now, they've been summoned. Notices have been slapped under Section 179 of the CRPC, making them witnesses in the probe. The case centers around Kamra's alleged remarks against Maharashtra Deputy Chief Minister Eknath Shinde, former IPS officer YP Singh, itself as unnecessary, saying it's not needed to involve the audience here when there is already electronic evidence of this event that's available for the cops to scrutinize. Now, Kunal Kamra, who currently stays in Tamil Nadu, has lashed out at the police for visiting his parents, the Mahim residence. In fact, that's the Twitter of the X post he's put out there, with him standing right in the center saying, "Don't waste your time. I've not been living here. It's been a decade. Visiting these places is only wasting your own time." Now, that's not all. Kunal Kamra is already staring at 3 more defamation cases against him at the Khar police station. Despite being asked to appear on March 25th and 26th, Kamra has skipped summons as the Madras High Court has granted him interim protection from arrest until April 7th. You have in the meanwhile Shiv Sena, who has stepped into the fray, demanding central protection and Z+ security for Kamra, just like Kangana Ranaut was given back in 2020. All right, shifting our focus here to Annamalai, who seems to be now sidelined from the reports that we have after the AIIDMK has sent out feelers to the BJP that if you want us to ally with you, you'll have to move out Annamalai. There's been a lot of speculation and rumors whether Annamalai will have to step down as the BJP president of Tamil Nadu. So this is precisely what AIIDMK wants. This is what we hear, that they've conveyed to the centre, largely to Amit Shah, who's been strategizing the BJP's leadership in Tamil Nadu, saying that if you want to come back as an alliance partner, then Annamalai will have to step aside. So strong buzz that Annamalai will have to go. 2 names that are doing the rounds right now as responsible, or as we know, possible replacements to Annamalai. Both of them, one is MLA Nayanar Nagendran, who seems to be one of the persons who the BJP is looking at to replace Annamalai. The other one is Union Minister L. Murugan. Both these faces seems to be they are quite popular within Tamil Nadu, especially the western region. So it seems like the BJP is considering either of them to take over as the BJP president. So while the names are already out, this fuels a lot more speculation in this story itself on whether the BJP leadership is going to push aside their most popular face, Annamalai, who seems to have gained a lot of traction and helped the BJP forge ahead, though they haven't significantly gained. But that said, Annamalai certainly is the most popular face of the BJP in the state and has a pan-India presence as well. So as we see now, AIIDMK's Edapadi Palniswamy, he himself met with Home Minister Amit Shah but refused to comment on any alliance or partnership ahead of the Tamil Nadu Assembly elections that's coming up in barely a year's time. Palniswamy says that this was just a friendly meeting. There was no talks on alliance.
நீங்க பத்திரிகையில தான் போட்டுட்டு இருக்கீங்க. அப்படி எந்த நதும் கிடையாது. இப்ப முழுக்க மக்களுடைய பிரச்சனைக்காக தான் நாங்க வந்திருக்கோம். இன்னும் ஒரு ஆண்டு இருக்குது தேர்தலுக்கு. நீங்க பத்திரிகையில தான் போட்டுட்டு இருக்கீங்க. அப்படி எந்த நதும் கிடையாது. இப்ப முழுக்க மக்களுடைய பிரச்சனைக்காக தான் நாங்க வந்திருக்கோம். இன்னும் ஒரு ஆண்டு இருக்குது தேர்தலுக்கு.
Now, interestingly, Annamalai was kept out of this crucial meeting. Sources say he wasn't even informed. Later, after the meeting, Amit Shah separately, Annamalai then came out to clear the air, saying, "I'm only a party worker. I'm willing to work even as a cadre. There's no trouble because of me for anyone." So, Annamalai really coming down to say that he's not eyeing a big role. All he wants is to work as a party soldier. Well, we know this isn't the first time Annamalai has been at the center of tensions. In 2023, the AIADMK had broken ties with the BJP, blaming Annamalai for his provocative remarks against the AIADMK icons, including Annadurai and J. Jayalalitha. If the alliance is being reconsidered now, the question is if Palaniswamy will demand a deal but without Annamalai in the picture. With criticism of Annamalai's aggressive leadership now, and his inability to stitch an alliance with the AIADMK even before the 2024 Lok Sabha polls, it seems like the chatter for change is growing louder there. Big showdown over Mohanlal's film Empuran. It's not 17 cuts, it's 24 cuts that they've made to the film after much of that backlash. Let's take you through the key changes that Empuran has now gone through. To start with, Empuran is going to be renaming the antagonist from Balraj alias Baba Bajrangi to Baldev. So that's one of the edits. After the backlash, they've also now decided to all visuals of violence against women and also edit out any images or visuals of places of worship, and also dialogues mentioning the NIA have also been altered or muted is what we hear. We're showing that for you, the scenes that are precisely cut. Even the reference to 2002 has been toned down to only saying a few years ago. The makers insist that none of these changes have been made by force. It was all voluntarily. Remember, the film, which is facing boycott calls from Hindutva groups over subtle references to the 2002 Gujarat riots, has triggered a political storm. Kerala BJP leader Vijesh Vittam even moved the High Court in Kerala seeking a ban on this film of Mohanlal, claiming that the film has potential to incite communal unrest by maligning the Ministry of Defence and central agencies. But Kerala High Court has slammed the plea. Justice C.S. Dias has called this a publicity-driven plea. Questioning him, have you watched the movie in the first place? What is your objection? It's certified by the censor board. Show me one complaint or FIR against the film. So the court made it quite clear that it found no merit in the man's petition. Now, post that embarrassment, BJP took a whole U-turn. In fact, the party leadership has taken disciplinary action against its own leader, Vijesh Vittam. BJP now distancing itself from its local leader in Kerala. Now, even as calls for censorship now only grows, we're looking at Kerala Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan himself watching Empuran last night, sending a strong political message there. Meanwhile, we also hear that audiences have thronged theatres to catch the uncensored version of Empuran. Now, despite all that controversy, Empuran has already clocked in 200 crores worldwide with packed houses ahead of the CBFC mandate of cutting nearly 24 scenes. Now, news coming in from Kerala, we're looking at ASHA workers who have been protesting much over a month, and the least a government can do is to empathize with protesters. ASHA workers, who are the backbone of Kerala's healthcare machinery, deserve a lot better. Trivializing their agitation, remember, can cost the LDF government dearly. The sooner they realize it, the better for them. On the 50th day of their protest, ASHA workers made a powerful, desperate statement. Hundreds of women there were seen in open tresses, marching to the secretariat, chanting Inqilab Zindabad before tonsuring their heads. But instead of compassion, all they got was mockery. Labour Minister himself, V. Sivankutti, in a Facebook post ridiculing this protest, suggesting that the cut hair is sent to the centre, arguing that ASHA workers should in fact demonstrate their protest in Delhi and not in Kerala, since their demands fall under the centre's jurisdiction. So the Labour Minister went on to further say, accusing the BJP that this is BJP orchestrated protests, and said Union Minister Suresh Gopi giving you raincoats and umbrellas is not going to change the situation for you. It's inconsequential. Imagine the Labour Minister speaking in such a fashion when you have the most important workforce in the healthcare system, ASHA workers, protesting for 50 days on. They want honorarium that should increase. In fact, the government of Kerala says it's already been done. In 2016, it was 1,000 they were getting. Today, they're getting 7,000. And with the possibility of earning up to 13,200 through incentives, their salary has only grown in that sense. But workers there arguing that from then to now, 2016 to now, workload has also increased immensely under the Adram mission, making these incentives that they are getting, which Kerala government claims is decent. For them, they say it's practically not feasible to, in fact, have a life with that kind of earning. 50 days on, the government may ignore the protest, but workers aren't really backing down. The question is, who will blink first? All right, we're looking at the big Waqf Bill debate. Seems like it might finally settle tomorrow. The matter will be taken up in the Parliament tomorrow. Momentum building up as both the Congress and the BJP have issued a whip asking their MPs to be present very much for the crucial vote on the Waqf Bill. Business Advisory Committee meeting ended on a stormy note today, with Congress and the other opposition parties walking out after the government allocated just 8 hours for discussion, rejecting the Congress's demand for 12 hours. The debate kicks off at 12:15 p.m. tomorrow precisely. Government makes it quite clear it plans to debate, respond and pass bill the very same day.
कि हम वक्फ के बिल पे चर्चा करने के लिए तैयार हैं। विपक्ष से अपील कर रहे हैं कि वो भी सदन में आए और इस पे चर्चा करें। जो भी सवाल है उन सवालों का सरकार जवाब देगी। तो जब सरकार इतना तैयार है, सरकार की मंशा एक ट्रांसपेरेंट, तभी तो सरकार ने सीधे बिल पास कराने के बजाय खुद ही सरकार ने स्पीकर साहब से आग्रह किया कि इस पे ज्वाइंट पार्लियामेंट्री कमेटी बना दिया जाए, देश के सभी स्टेक होल्डर्स के साथ मीटिंग हो जाए।
मैं अपनी पार्टी की तरफ से बोल सकता हूं कि हम तो बराबर डिबेट में हिस्सा लेंगे, अमेंडमेंट्स भी मूव करेंगे और हम उसमें पूरा अपनी बात को रखेंगे दलील के साथ और बताएंगे कि कैसा ये बिल अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल है, कैसा ये मुसलमानों के फ्रीडम ऑफ रिलीजन की मुखालिफत करता है, कैसा है मुसलमानों के चैरिटेबल रिलीजियस प्रैक्टिसेस से उनको महरूम करता है, ये हम कल बताएंगे।
Whose lands are being attempted to be grabbed by the Waqf. It is also clear that in addition to his appeal, the CBCI has also made his appeal to the MPs, and I hope that if they have a conscience, that the MPs of Kerala, whose beholden duty it is to serve the people of Kerala, to solve the problems of the people of Kerala, will indeed support this bill, because A, it solves the problems of the people of Munambam, and B, as you know, the Waqf Act as it is today is violative of the constitutional right to property. The bill is not against any community. It is not. It is totally incorrect, and it is absolutely mischievous for anybody to characterize this bill as being against any community. It is a bill that gives equal rights to every Indian citizen.
देखिए, यह संवैधानिक बिल है और लगातार हम लोग जो है संविधान को मानने वाले लोग हैं। भाजपा के लोग चाहते हैं नागपुर का कानून को थोपना, वो हर किस हम लोगों को बर्दाश्त है। हम लोग गंगा जमीनी तहजीब को मानने वाले लोग हैं। जो डाइवर्सिटी है हमारे मुल्क की, देश की, वही खूबसूरती है। शुरू से ही हम लोगों ने पार्लियामेंट दोनों सदनों में, चाहे राज्यसभा हो या लोकसभा हो, इसका हम लोगों ने विरोध किया था। चाहे बिहार में विधानसभा हो, विधान परिषद हो, उसका विरोध किया था इस बिल का। और आने वाले समय में भी हम लोग विरोध करेंगे। ये हम लोगों को हर किस इस तरह का बिल जो है कभी भी मंजूर नहीं होगा।
We are opposing the bill because the motives of the government is not above board, and there are some hidden agendas here to sort of disenfranchise a community from its legitimate rights. So we will be opposing the bill. It's not about just the bill. It's about how the composition of the management of these properties is going to be. While this has a genesis from the practice of the religion, to somehow take away the management of it from the members who practice the religion to making it an all-encompassing would not necessarily be right, because religious affairs are best left to members of the practicing faith to manage it.
All right, let me cut across to the quick report on price rise in Karnataka that seems to be disturbing people of the state immensely. After hike in milk, power, bus, metro fares, Bengaloreans have woken up to another rude shock. The BBMP has now imposed garbage cess that starts today. And the timing, of course, is questionable. Garbage collectors are currently on strike. Waste is piling up. Yet citizens are being asked to pay up for solid waste management. There are slabs that they've set up for this. The new fee applies to all domestic waste generators with 6 slabs based on building size. If I could take you through those slabs, for homes up to 600 square feet, 10 rupees per month to be paid for garbage collection. 600 to 1000 square feet, 50 per month for garbage collection. 1000 to 2000 square feet of a house, 100 per month for collection. 2000 to 3000, 150 per month for garbage collection. 3000 to 4000 square feet of home, 200 per month for garbage collection, and 4000 and above is 400 per month. Commercial establishments will have to shell out 12 rupees per kg of garbage collected from their doorstep. So the target here is for the BBMP to collect revenue of 600 crores. But in a city that's already battling rising living costs, this is of course sparked sharp criticism. In fact, imposing a fresh burden now on the state's people is making this look like there is no regard for rising expenses. The burden comes on the common man. The streets are currently overflowing with trash. So this will certainly shake altogether. The cess will be collected, we hear, along with property tax. A very sorry picture that's coming in from Gaza. Our international story here that takes center stage is images of nearly 15 aid and emergency workers from the Red Crescent, Palestinian Civil Defense and the United Nations found buried. They died during the war. They are found buried in a sandy grave in southern Gaza. Officials there confirming this grim discovery. I'm going to take you through these images.
The bodies of 15 emergency and aid workers from the Red Crescent, Palestinian Civil Defense, and the United Nations have been recovered from a grave in the sand in the south of the Gaza Strip, UN officials said on Monday. The bodies of the Red Crescent medics were brought to this hospital in Khan Yunis. The group came under fire and went missing on March 23rd, after Israel resumed an all-out offensive against Hamas earlier this month.
We arrived at the site where the ambulances were hit. These ambulances have been buried in the sand.
In graphic video from the UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, or OCHA, aid workers surveyed the wreckage and dug for the remains of their colleagues. The head of OCHA in Gaza, Jonathan Whitall, said the site had been marked with the emergency light from a crushed ambulance.
They were here to save lives. Instead, they ended up in a mass grave. The vehicles, their ambulances, UN vehicles, civil defense vehicles are crushed and dumped, covered in sand next to us. It's an absolute horror. What has happened here? This should never happen. Healthcare workers should never be a target.
The Israeli military said on Monday that an inquiry had found out that on March 23rd, troops opened fire on a group of vehicles that included ambulances and fire trucks. It said the vehicles approached a position without prior coordination and without headlights or emergency signals, and that several militants belonging to Hamas and Islamic Jihad were killed. It did not comment directly on the death of the Red Crescent workers or specifically respond to questions about why the bodies were retrieved beneath the sand, nor why the vehicles were found crushed. The International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies, or IFRC, said one of the 9 Red Crescent workers was still unaccounted for. The Palestine Red Crescent said it also recovered the bodies of 6 civil defense members and 1 UN employee from the same area. It said Israeli forces had targeted the workers. Red Cross statements did not apportion blame for the attacks. According to the UN, at least 1,060 healthcare workers have been killed since Israel launched its offensive in Gaza after Hamas fighters stormed southern Israel on October 7, 2023.
All right, we heard Sunita Williams today in a first after her touchdown on planet Earth. So back in 1984, when Rakesh Sharma looked down at India from space, he had the perfect answer. Sare jahan se acha. That moment became history. Now fast forward 40 years, the history kind of repeats itself with Sunita Williams making her statement of, in fact, she was stuck in space for 286 days and for the first time has spoken extensively about her country of origin, India. In her response, she says India looked absolutely stunning.
India is amazing. Every time we went over the Himalayas, and I'll tell you, Butch got some incredible pictures of the Himalayas. It was just amazing. I think when you come from the east going into like Gujarat and Mumbai, the fishing fleet that's off the coast there gives you a little bit of a beacon that here we come. And then all throughout India, I think the impression I had was it was just like this network of lights from the bigger cities going down through the smaller cities. Just incredible to look at night as well as during the day, highlighted, of course, by the Himalayas, which was just incredible. I hope, and I think for sure, I'm going to be going back to my father's home country and visiting with people and getting excited about the first, or not the first, but the Indian astronauts who's going up on the ASHA mission coming up. Pretty awesome. They'll have a hometown hero there of their own that will be able to talk about how wonderful the International Space Station is from his perspective. But I hope I can meet up at some point in time and we can share our experiences with as many people in India as possible, because it's a great country, another wonderful democracy that's trying to put its foot in the space countries, and I would love to be part of that and help them along.
All right, let me take you through Trump's tariff threat to India. In a press conference on April 1st, US President Donald Trump has claimed that India is set to significantly lower tariffs on American goods, basically preempting India's move. He's that comment, and this comment comes just ahead of Washington's announcement of reciprocal tariffs on April 2nd, keeping global policymakers on the edge. The White House has also listed India among nations deemed unfair to US exporters due to high tariff barriers. But Trump there making this light, already announcing himself that India decides to cut tariffs on US goods.
Well, as you know, Prime Minister Modi was here just recently, and we've always been very good friends. India is one of the highest tariffing nations in the world. You know that. I know. Thank you for shaking your head, but it's brutal. It's brutal. They're very smart, and he's a very smart man and a great friend of mine, actually. And we had very good talks. I think it's going to work out very well between India and our country.
Right, tragic news coming in from Malaysia. Over 100 people have been injured in a massive blaze that broke out at a gas pipeline that was operated by state energy company Petronas. The fire, which began on the outskirts of Kuala Lumpur, has caused widespread damage. Eyewitness footage shows massive orange blaze on the horizon and a large plume of black smoke rising from the site of that pipeline. Authorities have confirmed that those hospitalized had suffered burns and respiratory problems as well as other injuries. Efforts currently are on to control the fire and evacuate residents from the affected areas. Petronas has stated that the pipeline has been isolated with the valve on the 500-meter-long pipeline closed. As of now, 49 houses in the vicinity have been impacted by the blaze. Location of the fire was confirmed through satellite imagery, with further verification coming from the metadata in the eyewitness video as well. On that note, I'm slipping into a short break. I'm coming back on the other side with a sad story coming in from Allahabad, IIT, where 2 students, just in the span of few hours, have died on campus. Huge uproar among the student fraternity. Taking you through that story on the other side. Stay with us.
What does it take to be the greatest in the world? There is one thing which truly sets you apart. Your inner strength. Sodium DMT Rebar. True inner strength.
Light, camera, and action. Kick back, relax, grab your favorite snack because News 9 is here with your weekend dose of entertainment. It's time to take a deeper dive into the buzzworthy happenings of the entertainment world. From celebrity gossips to exclusive conversations, from nostalgic moments to News 9's pick of the week. Don't worry, we've got you covered here. And I hope you've grabbed your popcorn by now because News 9's page 3 is here to serve you everything that we call entertainment. So do stay tuned every Saturday and Sunday, 2:30 p.m.
What is to the nines? In literal terms, it's perfection. But to us, it's not just a phrase, it's an attitude. One that starts at your desk and sends a statement to the world. To the nines is about taking charge. It's a way of life where every scene, every fold, is crafted with excellence. It's timeless elegance and uncompromising quality made for the corner office. It's the ideas that inspire redefining order and elevating the tabletop. To the nines, for the leaders of today and the visionaries of tomorrow.
Every brand tells a story. And they are the storytellers, the Sutradhars. They present a brand with band, baja and barat to you. They are the Brandwalas.
Taking you through our story here on IIIT Allahabad. Double tragedy that sparks uproar within the student fraternity. Here, grief and anger now filled within the campus. Students are out in the streets. They are protesting against 2 deaths that took place in a span of few hours on campus. 2 first-year BTech students lost their lives on the same night. Rahul Chaitanya Madala, a 20-year-old who was hearing and speech impaired, allegedly died by suicide jumping from the 5th floor of his hostel building. Rahul was battling academic stress, we hear, and had his first semester exams. His disability, students say, was overlooked by the college system itself. His last heartbreaking message to his mother reveals just how alone he felt. Rahul died on his birthday. His mother completely devastated as expected. We are looking at the students there who are protesting, demanding answers from the administration.
टीन को इधर एडमिशन हुआ था IIIT इलाहाबाद में वो फर्स्ट सेमेस्टर को आया दिसंबर में जनवरी 4 को फिर इधर आ गया था क्या यही लिखा भाई उसको भाइयों को अच्छा रखने को बोला स्टडी करने को बोला उसको पापा को अच्छा रहने को बोला।
थाना एयरपोर्ट को एक सूचना प्राप्त हुई जिसमें ये ज्ञात हुआ कि IIIT इंस्टीट्यूट में पढ़ने वाले छात्र मणितेजा पुत्र गंगाधर जो कि जनपद निजामाबाद तेलंगाना के निवासी थे, उन्होंने बॉयज़ हॉस्टल की 5वीं मंजिल से कूदकर आत्महत्या कर ली। जैसे ही सूचना प्राप्त हुई मौके पर थाना पुलिस पहुंची, तुरंत घायल को SRN हॉस्पिटल में भर्ती कराया गया। इलाज के दौरान जो हमारे मरीज थे उनकी मृत्यु हो गई। इसके उपरांत जो भी अन्य वैधानिक कार्रवाइयां हैं वो की जा रही हैं।
And sadly, in another blow to the student community, another student, Akhil, first-year student, died the very same night, reportedly due to negligence. Akhil had approached the campus medical facility with severe pain and breathing issues. Students allege he was turned away. Sadly, he didn't survive. Now, under pressure, the administration has formed an internal probe, but students aren't buying it. They're out protesting, demanding accountability. Shockingly, several students claim that they're now being threatened with exam failures if they continue to raise their voices. This tragedy has once again triggered a serious conversation about academic pressure, mental health, institutional apathy, issues that haunt even the country's top institutes. Now, joining me tonight, a quick look to what this controversy is all about and if there is deep-rooted frustration within administrations in universities of this nature, high-statured ones. Raj Shivhare, BTech third-year student from IIT Delhi joins me, and Dr. Mimansa Singh Tanwar, clinical psychologist at the head of Fortis School Mental Health Program. Raj, if I could get your word on what we see here at IIIT Allahabad. Very tragic, of two students who died, different reasons. Students but blaming the administration for apathy, not really showing any concern or care towards these students. Finally, they lost them. What do you see this protest? How do you see it? Is this a frustration that was deep-seated?
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me on News 9 for speaking on this issue. Being a student from a premier institute of this country who has spent 3 years in this institute, I have myself seen nearly 5-6 students committing suicides here. And I will give you a holistic perspective that why students in premier institute commit suicide. Apart from academic pressure, there are many other reasons also. I'll cover all of them. So you please give me some time. I'll quickly give you 5-6 main reasons why these suicides are happening in premium institutes like IIIT, IITs. So the very first reason is that any student who is studying in a technical institute has gone through a factory in Kota or some similar place like that, where they were taught by their coaching institute teachers that once you enter into this premier colleges, all your problems will be sorted. Once you enter into this premier colleges, you will get high packages worth crore or lakhs. But you see, the placement rate is low from last 3 years, even in IIITs and IITs. And when such students enter into premier institute, and when they face the tough disciplined academic system of this premier institute, where every week there is a quiz, there is project submission, there is assignment, there is exams, they are not able to cope up with this pressure because they were not ready for these kind of hard work. So the very first reason is the brainwashing done by the coaching institutes and coaching mafias, which gives this false hope to students that once they enter into IIT, their life will be sorted. Then second thing, I request everyone to please listen to it very sensitively. I'm not against any category.
Go on.
Yes, any category or community. So there are two kind of students who enter into IIT. I lie in between. Therefore, I'm giving you an unbiased view on it. So the very first category or kind is those students who don't get any favor in the entrance exam. So they work a little harder on their logical skills, on their problem-solving skills. And there are students who get some benediction in exams, and they need to prepare a little less as compared to students. So when these both students enter into the premium institute, now there is no benefit or no relaxation on basis of community or category. So now there is a high competition inside the institute. And if I am sitting in this room and my friend is also sitting in this room, we are studying from same study material, same lecture, same book. But my friend is because he has worked harder on his problem solving skills, and I am not able to do. So I am comparing myself with my friend, and I am saying that, oh, he is able to do it, but I am not able to score well. I am good for nothing. I'm useless. I should commit suicide. The third reason why suicides are happening in premier institute is because the professors in premier institute might be good researcher, scientist, management gurus, or maybe good doctors, but they are not good teachers. When it comes about art of teaching, when it comes about art of storytelling, when it comes about making study fun for students, because they have because the attention span of student is less, they fail. And because of this, there is low attendance of students in colleges, and there are cases in which students committed suicide because of their low attendance in premium institute, right? And not just this, 70% of the students in premium institute look after NPTEL lectures or YouTube lectures in order to understand the concept and don't go to classes because the classes are not fun or not that interactive. Number 4 is the hardcore materialistic culture which we are promoting in our premium institute. So, for example, I am a student in IIT and I am in my second year, and if I figure out after 2 years, after working hard on myself for 2 years, trying to score well, I figure out that I am not able to do good with my engineering course, and shayad I am not made for engineering, but I am kept in an environment where people judge me based on my CGPA, how many PORs I have, positions of responsibility, did I get a summer internship, did I get a PPO? So in such a materialistic culture, hardcore materialistic culture where I am judged based on these parameters, I am not able to accept the thought that shayad I am not made for engineering and I should try something else. Every time I think that I am not made for engineering, my mind says that shayad I'm looking for escapism. Because everyone else is doing good, so I should also do the same.
That pressure, and none of us escape in any industry or any aspect of life. Every industry is as challenging, and engineering is no different. We know that these are high stakes, a lot of pressure, a lot of money spent, a lot of competition. But how do we ensure that there is economic, at least for the students there, while they're spending that kind of money, at the same time they receive the benefits of a quality education and also preserve their mental health? Ma'am, if you can give me a sense on academic vigor versus mental health, how should institutions strike that balance?
I think what we need to really understand is from the school itself, we must start on introducing mental health curriculum, because education and academic pressure has for a very long time been a part of our the culture that we end up, the pressure that we end up taking as a part of either the individual who tends to feel this pressure because of the comparative, the comparison that we end up making in terms of who is doing how well, whether it is the pressure that comes from the family or it is the pressure that we see in general in the society, in the institutions, so on and so forth. What we must understand is, and in context to also, something what he was referring to is the fact that everything is just surrounded around this aspect of going to this one particular institute, board examinations, then this institution, then this and this and this. On the aspect of the career path, which we need to understand is more of a longitudinal axis. And it's not just about that one board exam, and it's not about just clearing that or cracking that one examination, even though they are important milestones of our life. But that cross-section cannot define the longitudinal axis of life that we are going to lead. And there are going to be tests and pressures that are going to come in and out in different aspects of our life, in different profession that we will be in. So it's the aspect of what gets cut off when we are putting pressure a lot around the academics and scores and marks. The social skills, the social aspect. A student you would see would stop going out to play, to go to the playground, to meet their friends. Even if they are meeting with their peers, they're generally just talking about academics. Or largely students don't even, they hardly interact because everybody is in that competitive race. So everyone is thinking perhaps something similar on the lines of, how am I doing? And in comparison to my peers, how well am I able to do, not able to do, yet not being able to express about it. Ends up isolating oneself so much so because of the pressure that we end up internalizing, that we don't speak up, we don't talk about our pressures, we don't talk about the challenges that we end up facing. And pressures can come in from different elements, from different aspects of our life. The second aspect over here is also about the relationships, the nature of relationships that we have with our family, have with our peers, the kind of connection that we end up feeling with our mentors, and which is where the role of mentoring also comes in, which is where the role of parents as a support system comes in. Correct. Peers being a pillar of strength, that comes in, because that connection makes us feel that yes, there is something which is also valuable in my life along with everything else that I need to do. So those relationships really bring in that aspect of positivity in our life, which we must inculcate and continue to keep reinforcing while students are in education system, whether schools or colleges. We must include that.
As we're short on time, Raj, if I could give you 10 seconds to give me your last 2 points on why you think this has become an epidemic.
Okay, so I'll add 2 more points to this, that why this happens. Number 2 is the insensitive nature of the youth in colleges. If I go to my hostel and ask my friend for help, he would probably say, okay, you are feeling depressed, let's go, we will smoke, we will drink. And don't waste my time, I have my own things to do. Number two is, just give me 5 more seconds. Number two is, we all know that even after putting big banners and flexes of no drugs and no intoxication in colleges, there are particular sections in every boys' hostel where people do intoxication. And one of my friend who was in this addiction tried committing suicide. Somehow, fortunately, we saved his life. So these are two more.
You're saying addiction is certainly one big aspect, and this we know is rampant, right? It is rampant across the world. Indian institutes also are facing that issue, and we're hoping that authorities crack down on this. But this specific 2 cases here, according to the students who are protesting, claim it's negligence of the university and the college management for not actually catering to their basic needs. One being specially abled who wanted a little attention, did not get it. The other, who had a medical emergency or reached out to the college administration, was completely ignored. So let's hope this internal committee of IIIT Allahabad manages to get to the bottom of who's responsible. We're going to track this story. Thanks very much for joining us, both of you.
Thank you.
All right, a very interesting story here. A viral debate that's now sparked off over equality versus social norms. It started with a simple metro ride, now turned into a debate on social media. A 21-year-old boy, after a mentally and physically challenging and draining day of work, finally manages to grab a seat during his 40-minute commute on a metro. Soon after he sat down, he was asked to stand up and give up his seat for another woman. Not for an elderly person, not for a woman who was pregnant, but seemingly a healthy woman in her 30s. Importantly, he wasn't even sitting on the seat that was reserved for women, but yet chivalry was expected from him. The young man later took to social media out of frustration, expressing how, as a man, he felt pressurized to give up his seat, not by rule, all by social expectation. And this has triggered a huge debate. Of course, a conversation that usually happens in our own homes has now panned out across social media platforms, where questions being asked: if women are fighting for equality and saying that they are no less than men, then why do we still expect such gestures from men? But then, well, there's also the other side. Men are being trained largely to be chivalrous, to be good, have good manners, open the door for women, pull the chairs for women, stand up when a woman comes, be chivalrous, right? And it's not just for just women within your family, just any woman. That's what good manners is said to be for a man. So was this young man wrong to question this practice altogether? Or if we want equality, does that also mean we need to revisit such social norms? A very interesting chat let's have with Brinda Adige. I'm trusting her to give us some insights into how we can change this and what expectations to really have realistically. Also Barkat Rehan, who's an equal rights activist. Brinda, quick word from you on that.